Hello everyone, my name's Impractical and welcome back to Sonic Speed Simulator. If that intro wasn't any indication, we're going to be talking about what went wrong with the ESP Silver event. Yes, there was a lot of valid complaints, and trust me, there's a lot to break down of what could have been done to prevent any of this from happening. So just sit back, enjoy the discussion, and get ready to hop into the comments, because I'm pretty sure we're going to have some folks who are not going to be happy about this. On screen, everyone should be seeing what I believe the four main issues that contributed to this event. And the contributions are different in effect, and they have different ways of affecting people. But as you guys can see, we're going to start with the test server. Then we're going to go to the event itself when it went live. We're going to talk about the small dev team. And we're also going to talk about the mods. And trust me, before you guys start hitting the comments, just wait for the explanations for each of the topics before you make your opinion. I want you guys just to hear me out. And this isn't my opinion alone. This is what I gathered from the main Discord server and from some of my members in my Discord server as well. Okay, so we're starting with testing. So the test server is, if some of you who don't know, the test server is there in Roblox that you can look for in Sonic Speed Sim that allows you to play the event 24 hours prior to actually going live. Now that's to give you an idea what's to come. Devs use this to get good feedback from a lot of members in the community, especially in the main Discord server. Get that, you want to increase your pool. But how and why would you allow event chows to work if you never intended for them to work? That's the crazy part about all this. You had an entire server of folks convinced event chows were gonna work for this event, and it was the most misleading thing you could have done. If you're planning to test your event out, at least test it in a way that will actually be in live. Do not have people thinking, hey, I can use event chows. That makes no sense. And regarding the testing of the event, it seems like it was tested kind of inaccurately or not tested well enough, because the bigger issue that happened in live that many folks know about, especially that one task that takes forever to complete, should have been picked up before this event even came out. It should have been very obvious. So I don't understand how this could have been missed. There were a lot of parts, especially in the testing phase and in the testing server, that could have been avoided in order to get accurate feedback, and that wasn't the case at all. Moving on to the live event. Yes, the live event. This is supposed to be a challenging event. Again, I did mention they wanted the time frame to be about 3 to 5 hours long. They wanted people to take their time and not complete it in one sitting. I'm all for the challenge. You know what? Make it as grindy as possible. I would love for that to happen. But again, and here's a big but, if 6 out of your 7 tasks can be completed within an hour, and then the final task I'm spent 2 to almost 3 hours, okay, depending on the account. You could even go up to 4. Again, this is depending on what you have on your account. It is kind of insane. This is the most lopsided event you can ask for, especially when one of the tasks is taking up the majority of your time. That makes no sense. That's just a poor design, okay? And folks are gonna be like, yeah, but we had grindy. Yes, we had grindy events before. We had them be super long and grindy before, okay? We had the Supersonic event part 1. A lot of people remember that, especially chasing after the Chaos Emeralds, searching them all over Green Hill, and completing the task. Everyone knows about that. But the crazy part about it is you never felt like you spent one time too long on one task. You never had an event's entire completion time dependent on one task. It was well balanced. Now, compared to the past Supers events, okay, for Supersonic, over here for Neo Metal, and now for ESP Silver being the 3rd Super, this event was completely lopsided. This goes back to my first point, that the emerald pieces should have been discovered in testing. Okay, if you look at it on screen, I'm going to be showing you all the locations of where the emerald pieces are, and voila, look at that. Cool. Now here's all the locations for the auto run. You get the most smallest amount of patches for the auto run. Okay, so you can't even AFK this properly. The best route is to actively hunt them down. That's your best option. But even then, it's the inconsistency. There is not enough emerald pieces to go around. And yes, some folks will say, hey, it wasn't that bad. You can't say it wasn't that bad when the majority of the player base felt it, and it was very obvious and apparent, especially to someone like me who, by all means, pretty much has a maxed account. I have literally every possible way for me to grind out this event, and even I felt it. Worst of all, I tried this on my alt for free, and it felt even worse. Okay, having a player who just started the game and this being their first event is terrible. Okay, because it just shows that it cannot be done at all. This, for newer players, is a horrible way to introduce super events. And I don't understand why this came out to be this way. Now, yes, we have different patches. We have ways to go about it. You could farm whatever. But the emerald pieces never felt so little like they do now. And this should have been caught in the testing phase for this event and been notified, hey, this may need to be increased. It's already difficult enough for parts of the Shadow event inside of Lost Valley, but it's even more difficult from the fact that you doubled the amount that was needed from the original event that this was based on. Yes, the emerald pieces were based on for a part of collecting so you can get up to Shadow, and then all of a sudden, boom, there was like 1,000's not enough, let's make it 2,000. Again, a crazy amount and completely unnecessary if you ask me. Let's talk about the dev team. The dev team is extremely small. A lot of you aren't aware, I believe there's like just 2 programmers working on a lot of the bugs and stuff like that in the game. There's not a lot of people working on this team to get Sonic Speed Simulator and the events running and you go bigger and grander. A lot of these projects take time. I'm very understanding of that, and I can be very tolerant about it. I can't set my expectations too high, but I am impressed. A lot of the times I am impressed about what they can accomplish, especially with such a small team. My criticism isn't coming from a place of just malice or anything like that. I'm not coming at it just to go at their throats. But considering the work that they put out in the past, this isn't their best event. And yes, the team is small, but I would like for them not to try to push these kind of events out. I would like for them to take longer than they usually do and much more of their time, especially for a super event. We already know super tier characters are the highest tier in the game, and they offer a lot. ESP Silver is a special case because he has 2 special stats, both being magnet and stamina, and they're both sought after. This is my ideal combination here, and I'm happy for the character being released in the game. But I believe this is just poor work on their part. And I don't want them to feel rushed or to come out with big events like this. I wish they were given more time for this. I don't know the constraints behind the scenes. I can't talk about what they had to go through for this event, but I feel like this could have been a lot more executed if they had time, if they allowed it to cook a little longer before making this event go live. It was very apparent that we were going to have something big, especially when the general event, which came before this one, was very light. And I mean, it was very easy. You could just do that as cakewalk for a lot of us. Newer players who just started, maybe not so much because you got to work your way up to Hilltop, but for a lot of us, it was pretty simple. And lastly, let's talk about the mods. Okay, so don't get me wrong, the mods can be a little much sometimes, okay, especially when they ruin a lot of people's fun in the server, but they do make sure things don't get out of hand. The mods' job is to make sure everyone adheres to the Discord server rules and make sure everything is followed and kept kosher. That's perfectly fine, right? The mods have no way any influence on the development of the game. They have no control of what happens in the game, and they do not make none of the decisions. It does not go to the mods, it's strictly on the dev team. But for the life of me, I don't understand how hard is it, and this is going to circle back to the event, Chow. How hard is it to go into the event tab and put a message anywhere on this screen that says event chows are disabled for this event? Event chows won't work for this event. Don't bother with the event chows because we forgot it exists. You know what I mean? not a single message or warning gets put up for none of these events. You guys, just like me, are jumping into the event blind, testing things out to see does it work or not, or does it only work for certain quests. Now, just like us, a lot of the mods will find things the day of. Maybe they're lucky enough to get noticed the day before, maybe, especially if they're testing. But they're not gonna know anything. And the amount of comments, replies, and people messaging the mods and watching them get flamed for like 5 to 6 hours the whole day when this event dropped is insane. Okay, you could at least cut them some slack and put the message out in the game, but you can't even bother with that. So yeah, I feel for them. I feel bad, because normally I would ask these guys for something, some clarity, or if I need to borrow some chows or fast friends for a video or something, they're glad to help. In fact, a lot of these mods are very supportive of some crazy endeavors, but I do feel bad for them because they're just players like us. They're fans of the game, and they go through the worst of it. On screen, you guys are going to be seeing some comments from members in my Discord server. They felt it as well. A lot of my members know I will put out information or guides or things I can to help you out quicker in my Discord server before it goes out in my video. And even they felt it. They felt the emerald pieces, and it was pretty rough. Now, again, these comments, nobody hates it. Hell, even look at Legend right now. He wants a grindier event, and I want one too. I don't mind grinding. Hell, give me an event that I could grind hours on. Make my video delayed for 2 days. I am down for it. But make it balanced. Make it at least fair, and make it very clear. Do not make one task the entirety of the event. The rewards for this event were amazing. They were really top tier, okay? That Chow, that Astro Chow, it shares the same luck stat for a fuse maxed out Crimson Wisp. And those vending machines are a pain. You're gonna need a lot of those lucks, chows, trails, whatever you can get to deal with those vending machines. And that's super useful. Okay, the trail, the Silver Blur Trail, best stamina trail in the game. The Astral Tornado, best looking tornado in the game. I don't care about music tracks, so there's nothing I'm gonna say about that. I am tired of hearing Lost Valley, and I can't keep cycling the same. We don't even have enough music to deal with the grind in Lost Valley. Let's just start with that, okay? And lastly, ESP Silver. He has the stats I have always wanted on a character, Stamina and Magnet, which I believe are a good combination. The rewards are great. It's just the event that sucked. On screen, you're going to be seeing my exact thoughts on the event. Now, if you're a certain level in the main Sonic Speed Simulator Discord, you'll be invited to be able to give your thoughts and opinions regarding each event that comes out. Something that they started of recent. So once you reach that level, you can give your thoughts and opinions. Everything you heard in this video is basically me paraphrasing what I wrote down to them in my own review. So that's all that I have for the video. Yes, I would like to mention it was terrible to find out that you could skip the event for just 49 Robux. It only cost $1 to skip. That is very frustrating, but they did change it later on to 99 Robux. So something tells me there were a lot of things going on that didn't happen exactly as planned behind the scenes. So hopefully in the future, maybe it can be a little more coordinated so we don't get something like this. But yeah, that's all my thoughts, opinions, and stuff I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? If you felt the frustration, if you want them to have more time for these kind of events, if you want them to feel like they can improve it, just let me know your thoughts. I want to hear from you guys, okay? And I'll answer any questions in these comments in the next Thursday update. My name's Impractical. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.